Hi, in this video we'll be looking at something called the distributive property. So you'll use the distributive property in something that looks like this. Notice in this case we have a set of parentheses, and within those parentheses we're either adding or subtracting some stuff. Not multiplying, not dividing. It's important that the operation in the parentheses is either addition or subtraction. It's also important that the operation outside the parentheses is multiplication. And please remember, if you don't see an operation between two things like this, there is a hidden operation, and that operation is multiplication. So in this particular case, we can use the distributive property. So basically, the distributive property tells us that we can multiply each thing in the parenthesis by the thing outside the parenthesis, and that will have the same result. So in this particular case, that is also equal to A multiplied by B, and notice I didn't put the operation, I didn't put that multiplication sign there, not needed, it's assumed, plus, and I got that plus from that guy right here, A times C. Now this can work for things that also have multiple things within the parentheses and not just two. So for example, if I had A times B plus C minus D plus E, make it lots of fun, lots of things in there. The distributive property is telling us that we have to multiply by B, we have to multiply by C, we have to multiply by negative D, and we have to multiply by E. So we would end up getting AB plus AC plus, not plus, but minus, because that's a minus right here. So minus AD plus AE. All right, and I mean, I'm basically reeling off the alphabet for you right now, but this works with numbers too. So let's check that out. Let's say we have 4 times, so this is going to be an example, 4 times 6 plus 3. There are two ways to do this. You've done this before in another way, which I'm not going to discuss quite yet. Let's look at the distributive property. So the distributive property says that I could take this 4 and multiply by the 6, and I should take this 4 and multiply by the 3, and then I can add the answers. So we have here, it should be equal to 4 times 6 plus 4 times 3. So when we simplify that, we get 24 plus 12, which gives us 36. Now, those of you who are super savvy probably noticed that that wasn't the only way to do this problem. Recently, you probably looked at order of operations, PEMDAS, and you know that, okay, you can also simplify the parentheses first and then work with it that way. If you did it that way, do you think you would get the same answer? Well, let's check. 4 times, and then we do the parentheses. So 4 times 6 plus 3 is 9, and that does in fact give us 36. Now, that seems much quicker, much shorter. So you may be wondering, why would I do all of these steps right here when I could simply do this? Well, the reason is because sometimes you have a lot of algebra or maybe some unknowns that you're working with, and it's helpful to know how to use the distributive property to help in those cases. All right, let's do one more just for fun, but I think you got it, but just one more. Okay, so in this case, you probably wanted to jump to the quick, easy way and just do PEMDAS real quick. Can we? Well, no, we cannot, because we can't do anything to make this parentheses any simpler because we have a variable and we have a number. So we have to use the distributive property to simplify in this case. So what we're going to do is multiply the 5 by everything in the parentheses. And when we do that, we get 5 times x, and we can write that as just 5x plus 5 times 4. And we know that 5 times 4 is 20. But we can't simplify 5x any further, and so that is our final answer. It's as simple as it can get.